So what is up guys, it's TrueMC here, and in today's video I'll be showing you guys some of the quick tips and tricks for Fortnite's new 20 versus 20 game mode. In this new 20 versus game mode, it pins you up 20 against 20 in groups of 5. So you'll be in a group of 20 and there'll be 4 other groups of 20 for a total of 100 people. So with this new game mode, there's a few tips and tricks that a lot of people need to understand. So without further ado, let's get into today's video.
So many pieces all back together now. What's your vision?
If you guys do want to join my notification squad shoutout, don't forget to subscribe and keep notifications turned on.
So the first tip slash trick that we do have in today's video is that you need to communicate with your team. A lot of people may go into 20 versus 20 solo and they may go in alone. The reason why they may go in alone is because they may not have anyone to play with, or they may just feel like, you know, they want to just play the game alone quickly. Even if you do go into the game mode alone, you should definitely be communicating with your team, because if you don't communicate with your team, you will literally have no idea what's going on. I mean, on a team of 19 other people, it's very hard to really know what's going on. There's 19 other eyes in the sky, and if you aren't communicating with at least 4 of them, then you're really gonna have a really bad time playing the game. Because one thing that does happen in this 20 versus 20 versus game mode a lot is that there may be some enemies starting to shoot at you. Now if you don't know where these enemies are coming from, like if you're not getting callouts from your teammates, you're going to be in a very confused state. You're going to be running around building, just trying to figure out where the enemies are. You're not going to know if enemies are sighted. You're not going to know if the team is moving to another place. You're not going to know anything whatsoever. So in order for you to be all on the same wavelengths, you all need to make sure that there's at least a squad, at least a duo of you, because well, I would at least recommend a trio, simply because you know, you need to communicate with, you know, if there's resources being allocated, or you know, if your teammates are nearby. So definitely make sure that even if you do play solo, you at least invite someone to the party, or you make sure that you fill and then you go into game chat and talk to your teammates. The reason I definitely say this is because a lot of the time, communication, those who communicate win around, you know, 33% more of their games, and for those of you who don't communicate, they tend to lose around 27% more of their games. So it's just a quick little fact for you. I can't remember who did the research, but I just remember that fact being really cool. So definitely make sure you check that out, and make sure, you know, you realize that, you know, communication is always going to be key. So the next tip slash trick I have for you guys is, I know people ain't gonna like this one. I mean, people are really gonna hate this one, but it is one of the truest ones out there today. And this isn't just for Fortnite. I mean, this could be for any game, but this one is especially in Fortnite, because in Fortnite, a lot of the times, you know, you realize that, you know, sometimes, you know, items are really rare, like for example golden scars, some weapons. But a lot of the times what tends to happen is, what I tend to see happen all the time, is that a lot of people can be really greedy in Fortnite. Now what this means is that people, they don't tend to share the items, and then they think that, you know, they should have all the items for themselves. So what you really should be doing on this team-based game mode is you really should be sharing with your entire team, because once you begin to share with your entire team, it means that, you know, it allows, you know, your entire team to benefit from the resources you have. Because let's say for example I managed to find around, you know, 2 golden scars, or you know, 2 really decent assault rifles. There's no point me having 2 decent assault rifles, because I can't use both at once, and there's no point me having 2 automatic assault rifles or assault shotguns, because I can't use both of them at once. There's no point me doing that. So one thing you should definitely do is make sure that you share resources. Share the resources that you find, share the materials that you have, just in case one of your teammates goes down and you can pick them up. For example, let's say I have 2 medkits, or I have 4 medkits, and let's say someone goes down, or someone you know, let's say for example I go down. Let's say I go down, but I've got a lot of materials on me, or my teammates goes down and they've got a lot of materials on them. If I'm on a very low HP, it's going to be a very struggle for me in order to get my teammate back up, because I don't have any bandages, or I don't have any HP. Whereas if they've got all the bandages and stuff, it's going to be easier for them to, you know, to get me up, because they'll be able to heal up, and if there is any altercations, they'll have more health to, you know, win the gunfight. So that's one of the quick examples of why you should definitely make sure that you shared the resources. Now the next tip slash trick is that, you know, people don't tend to use this a lot, but I definitely see some people using this, and I saw one person use this in Fortnite, and I was like, wow, that's actually such a real cool thing to do. And then ever since then I've been using it, because I feel like it's a really cool thing. So the thing is waypoints. Now most people tend to see waypoints as something that something that you just use once, and then it's pretty much done for the rest of the game. But that isn't actually the case, because a lot of the times what I've tend to see happen is that waypoints are actually always on the map. They always stay there, and you can see them at the top of your screen. So it does make sense to actually keep the waypoints there, or to update the waypoints, because sometimes if you are moving to a new area, you definitely want to make sure that you know where your team is going, or where your teammate is going, because a lot of the times what can happen is people can get confused. For example, if you go into Tilted Towers, some people might just be going to Snobby Shores, or some people might just be going to Shifty Shafts, or different areas. So definitely make sure that you use waypoints to locate where you're going, especially if you are playing alone, or even if you're playing in a squad, because some people, they might not hear you're going to this location, and some people might just generally get confused. So definitely it's just generally not just a tip for 20 versus 20, but definitely make sure you use the waypoints. So the next one that I have is to stick together. And the reason I say to stick together is because it's very simple. The reason why you stick together is because if you go down, you need to make sure someone has your back. And if no one has your back, then you're going to be down and no one's going to be able to revive you. Now, if no one else revive you, then that just means members of your team are going to be able to be easily picked off without any consequences whatsoever. Whereas if we stay to a team, for example, if there's 10 of us and 10 of us come across 20 people, it's going to be a lot harder for us to damage those 20 people, because they've each got, it's a 2 versus 1 in every scenario. So definitely make sure that you stick together, because once you stick together, you have the numbers advantage. And once you have the numbers advantage, it means there's more damage to go around. So once you've got those numbers as well, something that most people don't realize as well is that once you have the numbers, a lot of people, they get scared. So for example, if I was running around in Tilted Towers and I saw 5 people running towards me, I'm not going to stay and fight. I'm going to instantly run away. And this is simply because there's no way I can kill 5 people before at least one of them shoots me in the head. So definitely make sure that if you are playing Fortnite, definitely make sure that you do stick together, because especially in 20 versus 20, you do need to make sure that your teammates are always nearby. And just in case that, for example, you might get sniped, you might just go down, you might drop off a hill, definitely make sure that you are, having teammates behind you, near you, because of course teammates will always try their best to save you. So that's the next quick tip that I have for you. The last quick tip that I have for you guys is a really cool one, and one that I really feel like isn't just for Fortnite, is for I guess you could say Fortnite solos and duos, and I guess you could say squads in general, but it's definitely a really cool one, is that with the fact that there's so many people around, make sure that someone is watching your 6. One thing that I seem to see happen a lot of the time is that since there's so many people seem to feel like, oh well, there's so many people here, there's no way I'm gonna die. People think that, oh yeah, there's like 20 people here, there's no way someone's gonna snipe me out of all the 20 people. It happens, and then the entire squad, if the entire squad has this entire mentality, then you're gonna be looking at a group of 20 people who think they're all invincible, and are gonna be thinking that there's possibly no way that they could die realistically. But what does tend to happen is people tend to don't realize how easily it is for an entire squad of 20 to drop. It may not seem like this at the start, but trust me, an entire squad of 20 can easily drop down. Easily drop down. So you need to make sure someone is watching your back, because if no one is watching your back, then you could get flanked by an entire group of people, and especially if communication is lacking in a 20-on-20 team, it could easily be the end of your 20 team. So definitely make sure that you do the things I just said, because that will definitely be giving you guys your first victory out. Now, I haven't played too much 20 versus 20 because I do enjoy the solo grind, but definitely make sure that you use these tips and tricks to stay one step ahead of your counterparts in the Fortnite Battle Royale game experience. So without further ado, guys, it's been JC. If you did enjoy this video, do not forget to leave a like, do not forget to subscribe, and until next time, it's going to be until tomorrow to my next Fortnite video, so I guess I'll see you in the next one.